Hi, my name is Ray Mount. I'm a guide for Guided Wilderness Connections, and I want to welcome you to my healing journey, going into the woods and nature each day for at least an hour so I can reconnect to what's real and heal from some of my traumas that have dissociated me from this reality, this energy, and from myself. So I usually find a theme to meditate on, and I'll check in with you at the end of my hour hike, let you know how that went. Today the theme has something to do with what happened to me when I got caught up in the cable news and the story about the virus, and I just broke down and cried. So I want to hike and go inside and see what that's all about today. So please join me. Well, I made it about 4 miles. A lot of it was a run. But I want to share with you what I did and how it worked out. So what I did was try to get attuned with nature so that I could hear it, I could listen to it, I could understand it and realign myself to it, attune myself to it. And I did that by just letting go of my body and let it move the way it wanted to move along the trail. So I started off just shaking my hands and feeling a lot of tension release. And I felt myself running. So I had a lot of energy and ran at a pace that fit my body. My body just took over and let me know how to move on the trails. And as I freed up my body and it connected with nature, it allowed my mind to surrender to the process, to nature, and so to open up and to connect. And with that, a deeper part of me was able to come forward and open up, a part some of us call self-energy, where compassion and curiosity and a sense of calm and courage and clarity, creativity come from. And when I'm able to get there in nature and able to connect that with nature, I can just feel the joy and I can just feel the lifting of burdens. And so I call that arrival. It's arrival in the hospital that Mother Nature has. I'm there, I'm tucked in, and now I'm ready to do the work on the parts that are hurting. So I'll get to that in the next video. So today the part I identified that was hurting, I mentioned earlier, was grief, the sadness, as I was watching cable news. And I cried, and my heart was broken. And I was also aware of anger, that things should be different. There shouldn't be this much suffering in the world. And so as I worked on that part of me today that's suffering with the world that's suffering from this pandemic, I realized that I was also separated from nature. Because as I looked around in nature today, even though it's a beautiful sunny day and everything looks just wonderful, the circle of life of which nature is part of involves suffering. Moment of suffering, hour of suffering. And so for me to surrender to that possibility in myself and others and nature, that suffering is a normal part of the life cycle, a normal part of how nature nurtures us. The pandemic took on new perspectives, and I was able to accept, without liking, but accepting, that this is a necessary part of our circle of life process at this point in time. And so I could then see my role as doing what I can to first protect myself, following the rules of nature, not the rules of man, the rules of nature, of science, and protecting myself and doing what I can to alleviate the suffering of others. So this morning I want to suggest to you to think of nature as, and how you could use Mother Nature to soothe some of your own suffering.